when you walk in this thing, and I know you've walked in it before, but are you still like pinching yourself a little bit?
Well, it's amazing you get to this point and it's a reality, and over the course of time, from having a little bit of input on the construction, the lay of the way the building lays for our student athletes, the flow for them, it's awesome. And now I'm excited to get in and live out of it. We're that close. It's going to be awesome for our student athletes, and I'm happy about that. I'm so thankful and really humbled for the folks that work to put this together. And it becomes vision of the administration, and then getting everyone aligned on making sure that it's done right. It's pretty cool.
You made a habit of watching this thing being built, right? Like you'd bring a lunch here and watch during the day.
I just want to know what was going on, because you have the plans together, and you also know how impactful it is to your university. To watch it start from where it did, in March when they demolished the entire area, and then the build up from there. The amount of people, I think last week we had over 300 employees working in here trying to get it finished. And that's a huge statement on a lot of people working together. And then also you look at the folks that financially made this possible, but then the leadership of our university and athletic department on really making it happen. The board of curators, from Moon Choi to Dr. Cartwright to Jim Sturck, and then everybody together pulling it together. It's really an amazing feat that I'm honored to be a part of.
And set this up, you would bring your sandwich and just watch the construction workers work?
So I should have been working out, right, over lunchtime. Should be a workout, but I grab a sandwich and go up on the hill. That's a great spot, and you could kind of see the inner workings of it coming together.
Do you think there's any connection, and I know you're not allowed to mention names, but do you think there's any connection to you being off to your best recruiting beginning and this all happening?
I would like to credit some of that to this. I think because for our staff, we've talked about this happening. We've talked about the vision of the process of winning and the things that go along with that, and this was part of it. So this is just another step for us. And I think now that guys can see it, they come and walk the walk with us, and they see the things that we've talked about happening. I believe very strongly this has helped us.
In practical terms, what does it do to make your life easier? How will it make your football team flow better?
Yeah, you look at the space, and everything that I want our staff focused on is the student athlete experience. And for them, when they walk into the doors here, it shows a commitment from a lot of folks that it's important. The opportunity for them with the sports medicine area, strength and conditioning, the locker room, the meeting space. If you walk through it in the shoes of a student athlete, it's very, very friendly, and it will allow us within the things that we've put together in this building to enhance the experience for all of our student athletes.
How about yourself? You just seem to be more relaxed. You're more comfortable in being the head coach. You're more comfortable in being Barry Odom. Take me through that a little bit.
Well, early on, there were a lot of things that, I had to keep to myself that I wouldn't and couldn't allow myself to have the opportunity to even sit and talk like this, Frank. There were so many things that had to be done, and I knew the way that it needed to get done, and I wasn't going to stray from having that opportunity in the short window to start. There were a lot of growing pains that we went through, and some of those were self-inflicted, but also the way that I wanted it done, I had to early on establish exactly the way it was going to be. And then now I look at me maturing as a head coach, but also I'm so thankful for our staff. I love this group, and I'm talking about our entire organization, of the culture of who we are with our team, in the locker room, the leadership in there, and then also the guys that I share a staff room with. You talk about staff harmony and the ability to work well with others. the ability to be all in together and aligned in the same vision. This is as good of a group as I've ever been a part of.
The team had a viral video over the weekend where they were pretending to be a marching band. Just how close-knit is this team?
Well, you look, there's a lot of those things in a locker room that go on, but I think the ability for them to know that was after one of our hardest workouts on a Friday morning in the off-season, the summer workout phase that we have, and they absolutely knocked it out of the park. I mean, they did a great job. They attacked it. Their mindset was right, and that was a little bit of celebratory phase for them. And they like each other, and we're not perfect, but the culture again overrides everything that we've got. And the leadership of our team, starting with our senior class, the things that they've done and been through and stood for, has permeated throughout our entire roster.
I know when you initially started to recruit Kelly Bryant, you knew you were getting a great athlete and a really good quarterback. You probably didn't know that you were getting such a leader. How has he just jumped out at you and impressed you in that regard? He's
very mature, but also is able to relate to whoever he's in context with at that moment. And I think it's a gift that he has, mainly because his ego is so low. But he is a fierce competitor, that he understands the pulse of what he needs to say and when he needs to say it. And I think that comes through maturity, and also being vulnerable with who he is. And that's a hard thing to do at that position.
What have you seen on the field from him? Physical skills?
I thought he improved from practice 1 to 15 through spring ball. That's the coach talk, right? But you look at some of the throws at the end of spring that he was making with the timing and understanding. You got to take a step back a little bit and understand what Kelly, he started at quarterback around a group of guys he had no clue on how they ran routes, what the release looked like. I mean, some of those things, it's a little bit, different terminology, all the different things that he started from January until the end of April on improving and working with. He made huge strides. And there's a number of times that, we don't tackle the quarterback, but we'd get close to, our defenders were saying it was a sack, and, they're just getting a fingertip on him. So he's got great elusiveness, really good speed, and a couple of moves, jump cuts and back vertical speed, really impressed with. But the thing I think I watched most him grow in the throw game, probably the intermediate concepts that we have built in our offense.
How excited are you about the ground game? You have a star in Roundtree. You had this incredible offensive line led by the St. Louis and Sims. Give me an idea of just how devastating that could be. Well,
we've got to be able to run the ball. And that's so important in college football, especially in our league. You better be able to win on the line of scrimmage on both sides. You better be able to find ways to run the ball, and I think we can. And then you've got to be able to stop the run on the other side. And I know that sounds very elementary, but that's the key. You look at the champions in our league, every one of them has been able to run the ball. And they've also been really good in run defense. So for us with Trev Sims, who I think is one of the best interior linemen in our conference, Yasir Duran, our left tackle, I think the same thing about his skill set. Tristan Castillo at our center position. All three of those guys combined have played as many snaps as anybody in our league. They're a great group to build that philosophy on. And then you've got a number of guys competing for the left guard and right tackle spot that we feel like we've got maybe more depth there than we've had before. But also now those guys that played, the three that I mentioned, they've got to play at a higher level than they ever have before. We're counting on that happening. And then Roundtree and Beatty at the tailback position. Roundtree was a 1,200-yard rusher last year. Is
what
out.
Makes him special?
His habits, his everyday habits on who he is as a person and the way he works. There's not anybody that will outwork him. And he is on a mission to be a great football player.
As we speak at 10:30 on this Tuesday morning, where does it stand with the NCAA and the appeals process?
Yeah, it's a process that has taught me some patience and also the ability to communicate with our team and our staff And I'll even say to our fans, we've got to control what we can control. And I think we were very aggressive with our approach on it, but also in a respectful manner, which is important to do. I think Mizzou should understand, and the Mizzou Nation, as we have the boosters and fans and all the people tied to our program and athletic department, understand that the University of Missouri did a tremendous job with our council legally, internally, and then our outside counsel. It was as good of a team as we could put together. A very, very strong case that we feel very firmly that we've done everything right. And now it's to the point that here, and I don't know a time frame, but we'll find out kind of what ends up out of it. But for our team, thinking about that, and I know it's out there, but thinking about it does absolutely zero for us. We don't control it. So we control on the number of opportunities we have to go play, the habits that it takes to prepare to be ready to go play them, and then we'll let the chips fall as they do.
Along those lines, if the NCAA Appeals Committee hasn't rendered a decision by the time the season starts, how would you keep your team focused on football matters instead of the committee's ultimate decision?
I visited with our team. We had a team meeting last night, and I talked to them about that opportunity. We don't know what's going to be handed to us. I don't know when it's going to happen. I have no clue. As soon as I get more information, I told them last night, they'll be the first ones to know. That's just the way our program works. It will be for us, whatever happens, and as good as it could be, or maybe not as good as it could be, we'll use it as motivation. We'll use it as a life lesson, because I have no clue what's going to happen in the next 30 minutes, right? But whatever hand that you're dealt, okay, you control your attitude, your mindset, your demeanor, all those things. That's what we control. So whenever we find out, we'll take the information, use it as we need to, and keep moving forward.
How about this angle, that football prognosticators say there's a realistic chance that you could be favored in like 10 or 11 of your 12 regular season games? I mean, there's a lot of respect for this team, for what you guys did last year and what you have coming back. What would that feel like, a 9 or 10 win season?
Don't get ahead of it. We want to. We need to have a really good fall camp, and if there is that narrative out there a little bit, I'll embrace that. We'll use it as a team. I'm happy that our guys are getting some respect, but also we got to go prove it, and bring on the good and the bad that comes with that, and let's go show how good we are. Let's go focus and work, and become as close as a group as we can. We do have playmakers. We've got them in a lot of spots. We've got the opportunity. We've got returning starters. We've got experience. Well, let's go do something with it.
Give me one name that we don't know about, or we haven't heard too much about. But boy, you really like what you saw in the spring. You really like what he's done in the summer. Give us a name that we should keep an eye on.
I'm going to go on the defensive side. I'll go Josh Bledsoe, starting safety. Had as good of a spring as anybody. Really worked himself physically to transform his body in position where he could be an every down guy. And has got playmaking ability. Smart, athletic, understands the position, and I think he's got a chance to be really good.
Final thought. Have you walked out on that lobby, this little terrace yet?
I have, yeah, just an hour ago.
What a really cool moment for a head coach to look. What are your emotions like?
Well, look at the view, and then you think of the fan experience that folks are going to have with this new complex. I mean, again, I go back to there's a lot of nice football complexes in the country. There's not one that's nicer than this. There might be as nice, but we go back all the time to the substance of the people inside of this building. That makes Mizzou special. And we're excited and thrilled about this opportunity in the building, and in as much as that as I am the people inside the building.